Hey you guys, and welcome to my 2019 reading wrap up where I'm about to go over all the books that I've read so far. Okay, you guys? Um yeah, so each one will probably be a little bit brief in the beginning because it's been a while since, the beginning of the year, but we'll see how much I remember. Also, I'm going to try a new thing. Obviously, number one, I'm not in front of the camera, but I'm behind it because I read a lot of ebooks and audiobooks, and this way I can show you the title since I still haven't learned how to insert a title into a video. Okay, that's a goal of mine one of these days. And I'm gonna try with doing some quotes along the way from each book. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Let me know what you guys think of it, and let's go. When my mother opens her mouth to have a conversation at dinner, my father shoves the word hush between her lips and tells her to never speak with her mouth full. This is how the women in my family learn to live with their mouths closed. So, the first book I have to talk to you guys about is Milk and Honey by Ruth Kaur. And I enjoyed this book a lot. Again, it was a reread for me. So the first time I gave it 5 stars, this time I gave it 4.5 stars, and I'm definitely going to reread it and buy another copy, and by then maybe I'll have more of my thoughts together. But I feel like even more so with poetry books and just like regular books, I always say, like, some poems I like more than others. Some poems I absolutely love. Some poems I just, and then sometimes you just hate poems. I didn't hate any of the poems in here. I actually loved a lot of them, and a lot of them I just thought were okay. So that's where my star rating comes from. On to the next one. You can't blame her for being confused. There's a hand, dust dry and bony, sliding up underneath her dress, and it happens so slowly, so artfully. She forgets she never said yes, forgets this body and brain are hers to keep. This is another poetry book that I read, and it is called I Am Not Your Final Girl by Claire C. Holland. And this one is about the horror. This book of poems is about like this horror trope that goes on with like the final girls and like horror films and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of like feminists and other like political things going on in this. Part of my problem with this poetry collection that I was so excited about was that like at the beginning of every one, I believe there is like a movie that goes along with the poem, or like that she's basing the poem off of. So number one, I'm gonna say that I didn't see even half of these films that I can remember, so I didn't get some of the things that when she was writing the poem what it was about. Now some of them I did, even without seeing the film, kind of get where she was going, but sometimes I just felt like it relied too heavily on me having seen the film, so it just didn't jive for me, and I was so not happy with that. That's because I was really excited for this. I ended up, I guess if I have to rate it, I'll give it a 2 stars because it was okay. I didn't hate it. I might go back one day and watch these movies and then read the poems and see if that betters it, but probably not. That's a lot of work, so we'll see. 2 stars to I Am Not Your Final Girl, but I do recommend it. You might like it better than me even without having seen like the movies. Every year I manage to live on this earth, I collect more questions than answers. So the next book that I read is If They Come For Us by Fatma Asghar. Yeah, ke-sha, you didn't pronounce any of that right. But anyway, so as you guys can tell, this is a third poetry book that I have for you guys. And I was in like a real poetry mood, and I actually got most of these were available on Kindle Unlimited or from my library, so I didn't buy any of them, which is great in this case because I did not enjoy this one. I just didn't like it. I don't have any real critiques about it. It just wasn't for me, especially at this particular moment. Like I was just like, so maybe I'll come back at a later time and maybe I'll like it more later on, but I just don't see that happening. So yeah, 1 star for If They Come For Us. I will give him my body, and what he does with it is none of my business. But I will say, look, I made it a whole day still. No rain, still I am without exit wound. And he will say tonight, I want to take you how the police do. unarmed and sudden. The next book I have is Don't Call Us Dead by Dane Smith, which is another book I was also really excited for. I got this one from my library. And first off, I'll give you my star rating. 3 stars, which is just, I'm middling it because I both liked it and just really was like, huh? At the same time, it's kind of like the last book in some ways that I'll say this. Like, I felt like there was like some political stuff that I just didn't fully grasp the situations in. And I was just like, you have confused me, because I felt like maybe I should know more about this subject before I read this certain poem. And I felt like that in The Final Girl too. Like, there was something that I was just particularly missing, but also I just didn't enjoy just like the flow of the poems sometimes. So there was that too. So yeah, call me basic. Like, Milk and Honey is kind of basic, but like, I felt it hit me. Some of these poems deeply hit me. Some of them were just like a complete miss. And you know what? I might come back to this one again later on and read it and feel a different way about it, because I feel like that way with some poems. Like, I read it once when I was younger and maybe it was okay, and maybe I enjoyed it a lot more once I got older. So we'll see if that works for any of these. So 3 stars for Don't Call Us Dead. So this is the first of 3 books that I read by Kevin Wingle this year. I really enjoy him as an author. He writes a lot of mystery, like espionage, like spy thrillers. And this one follows this guy, Max, and he launders money for some people, and then there are some family secrets. And I feel like out of all of this one, if you read the reviews, this one is probably not the most for everyone, because it is like really slow on that side. And like, I feel like less action and more talking action, and a lot of people hate that, but I feel like out of the 3, that this is the one I enjoyed the most, because I kind of enjoy that type of thing. So 4 stars. It's available on Kindle Unlimited, and I would recommend it. So the next Kevin Wingle book I have is The Traitor Story, and I'm not gonna lie to you and say I remember more of this than I do, because I don't. I remember enjoying it. I felt like I enjoy a lot of Kevin Wingle's books, like fast popcorn things, especially when you're listening to it on audio. It's really like a movie in your head. But I'll give it another 4 stars, because like, it's just like, I really enjoy it. Like, I feel like I can pick up any of his novels at any time and just have a good old read. Not too serious, but like something I can get through fast and quickly, that I'll enjoy and that I'm intrigued by every step of the way. Like, it's just my popcorn type of thing. I don't know what to tell you. So last but not least, we have To Die in Vienna, and this one is supposed to be becoming a movie featuring like Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not sure if it's still actually happened or if it has happened or what. I'll have to check up on that, but I can definitely see why, because from what I remember, this one more so out of the 3 that I remember reading from now definitely has the most action. Like, I felt like it was just like always go, go, go. Not like most of his books aren't like that, but this one even more so. So it follows this guy, and he's like a spy, and he's spying, and he's a spy for hire, and he's spying on this person. Like, someone pays him to spy on this person and report everything back to them. And then one thing, everything goes dark, and I think the person he's watching dies or whatever. And that's not a spoiler, it was in the plot. And then someone tries to kill him as well, and that's where everything like just kind of kicks off, because he has to figure out why people will want him dead for doing something that they paid him to do, basically. And it was just like always like such a mystery of things. As always, I do enjoy Kevin Wingle's books, and right now the 3 I mentioned are all available on Kindle Unlimited, the audio and the physical book. So there is that. And I highly recommend, if you're into the mystery, thriller, espionage, spy genre. And again, I'll just give this book 4 stars, because like, I really love and enjoy them, and there's really nothing bad that I can say about them, because I'm never bored. It's just like a pickup go-to book that I always know I enjoy, and this specific author does that for me. We all have that author. Why are mortals always so eager to declare things impossible anyway? It's not like things do or don't exist just because you say so. Hey, you guys, and welcome to what is going to be one of my top series forever and ever, and that is the Heartstriker series. The first book in the series is Nice Dragons Finished Last by Rachel Aaron, but in this case, in 2019, I read the third, fourth, and fifth book, which was No Dragon Goes Unpunished, A Dragon of a Different Color, and Last Dragon Standing. But I just had to pick one cover to show it to you guys, so I thought I'd get the first one and put it in your mind so you guys can go off on Amazon, wherever, and look it up and read the story, because it is my absolute favorite. I personally owe them all on Audible, but I'm gonna make it a goal to pick up the physicals one of these days. So this series follows Julius Heartstriker, and he is a nice dragon. He likes to stay out of the way, be invisible, but in a dragon clan, that is not a good thing, and his mother has kind of had enough of this. She needs him to be ruthless and be useful. So what she does is she takes away his dragon form and makes him stay in his human form and drops him into this city, which used to be Old Detroit or whatever, and it's a city that does not like dragons, and they are to be exterminated, and he has to prove himself in 1 month or he will be human forever. And I just have to say that I really love Julius. He was so cute. But he's one of those characters where he's nice, but he's so nice all the freaking time that part of you hates him and wants you to knock him over the head. It's because it's yeah, of course you got into this trouble because you're so you're just been just a little he's such in black and white sometimes. It's so freaking annoying. But just watching his journey over the course of 5 books and where the story is going and everyone else's stories that he gets involved with and his family, who I the Heartstrikers are some crazy mess, which you kind of grow to love him, and you just want more books just following the Heartstrikers around. I feel we can just have a whole series following each of these siblings and the crazy stuff that they get up to. My favorite sibling, even more so than Julius, the main character, is Bob and his crazy self and his pigeon that stays on his shoulder all the time. I was up there Bob, can you just take over this book a little bit? I can understand why he wouldn't, but yeah. So before I keep going on, Nice Dragons Finished Last by Rachel Aaron is definitely on the top of my favorite series. If I could have given all these books more than 5 stars, I would have. And basically, people were an inconvenience to me until I finished the story, because I finished the last 3 books and I was just so annoyed. I didn't show I was annoyed, but part of me in my head, I was just thinking, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be at work, I just want to finish my book. That's all I wanted to do. It was in one of those cases, and when you get that feeling that a book totally, completely, 100% has you, and that's how I felt. And that's why I would recommend this, and this is definitely one of my favorites. And also, this comes off because of that time where I was feeling I really wanted a dragon book, because I hadn't read dragon books in quite a while, I feel and that also lent to my love. And I just love the lore and everything that happened in this whole series. So yeah, definitely go check it out. Recommended. We didn't need to speak all the time. We were comfortable doing whatever with each other. We would quite often just sit in the bookstore and read side by side. So, in order to calm down my fangirling self, we're going to go on to this next book, and that is Bailey and the Bad Boy by R.Linda. Tagline: "He broke my heart. Now I'm about to get even." This is some teen drama me mess. I'm not even gonna lie. So it follows this girl, and her boyfriend breaks up with her in front of everybody. So in order to get back, she pretends to start dating this bad boy, and it's just such a cutesy little romance drama thing where I felt actually none of the characters irritated me, which I feel is so hard to find sometimes when you're in the middle of a book, especially when drama and teen stuff people go over the top. It wasn't too over the top. Everything was just as it should be. I really don't have any complaints. It was nice, it was cute, it was just adorable. I don't know what else to say. You can pretty much guess, even from just reading the synopsis, where it's gonna go. But I loved and enjoyed it. Although once or twice, I was just like, I felt like you could have figured this out from the like we were given the same information and I figured it out. But I know sometimes how hard it is when you're in the middle of it to like think clearly because emotions are running high. But definitely gave this book like a 4.5 stars. I gave it like a 4 stars basically. So there we go. Bailey and the Bad Boy. And there's other books that follow some people in the story, like they get their own companion novel. So I think I'm definitely going to check those out one of these days. It's available on Kindle Unlimited if you are interested. What started as a spark has become a raging inferno, ravaging my whole world. So I guess we're going to end this on a slightly steamy note. This is the last book that I read, not this one particularly. I read the third book in the series, which is called Forever. Yes, it's a series, it's a trilogy. And the first book is, of course, BFF, Best Friend's Father, by Devin McCormick. And you can pretty much guess where this book is going to go, just based solely on this title. So, friends, Jesse and Ty. I'm going to think his name is Ty, but, we're just going to go with it for the purposes of the rest of this video. But just don't, hold me to that if you guys actually get around to reading this book. But Jesse and Ty are best friends, and Ty's father has a house somewhere for a vacation spot, and they end up going there. And then Jesse and Eric, which is the father, meet and have an instant kind of lush reaction to each other that goes down, which is where the best friend's father thing comes in. I don't know what that noise was. But okay, so despite like the salaciousness of the beginning of their relationship over the course of these 3 books, they meet, they have instant lust, but then it comes into like a real, like, they get to a point where there's like, are we doing this, are we not doing this? And then they do, and they have a mature relationship, and they have a relationship in which they work on themselves and their issues that they have where relationships are concerned. And I really enjoyed that. Yes, it got a whole lot deeper than you thought it was going to be, just from based solely off the title, right? And reading the synopsis for the first time. And so I really enjoyed watching their relationship grow and progress, and as they grew with each other. And it kind of just makes me want to reread it right about now. I gave them all 4 stars, so I absolutely loved and enjoyed them all. Now, of course, there's that whole situation with Ty, which I guess I'll dive in a little bit with. And Ty, of course, I think his reaction is pretty much standard, I guess, if you found out your best friend and your father were dating or whatever. And I don't feel like the two of them did any wrong in the sense that I don't think they waited and put it off. They actually faced it. They actually faced it head on and actually dealt with it the right way, if there is a right way besides not doing it at all. And they made sure, I guess, they were solid in themselves before this became even more of an issue, I guess you could say. And I felt like Ty's reaction was, a little bit justified, but also not justified. But I guess not towards their relationship, but just with him and his father. In general, they have a difficult relationship because of the fact that I think in this book they're like out of college at this point, maybe. Yeah, they have jobs and stuff like that. So they're young, but not that young. But I think that Ty didn't know his father until he was 16. And this has created a lot of tension between him and his father. And it wasn't the father's fault. Also, I just have to point this out. The mother didn't tell the father that she was pregnant because she was mad because they had broken up. I guess they were already broken up by the time she had discovered this. And it wasn't like it was a big, insane breakup. It was just like, oh, they broke up. Like, it was a nice, cleanful way from what I can see. Not that there wasn't hurt feelings, obviously. And so she didn't tell him that she was pregnant. And she didn't even tell Ty who his biological father was until, like, he, like, I guess went behind her back. I can't exactly remember how he found out, or he just badgered her until she told him. And that's what happened. They met when, like, they were 16, and I guess it just, the first meeting probably didn't go as planned. And it wasn't because the other one, Eric, was mean or anything. They were just both awkward with it, learning that you basically have a teenage son and learning who that your father was. And that awkwardness just never really got smooth over the years. So there's just like a lot of dealing with that in this book. And then of course him dealing with the fact that, you know, now him and his best friend kind of have a rework of how their relationship boundaries are going to be set, because dude, you're dating my father type thing. I really went way deeper in this. But besides that, I thought I really enjoyed all characters, and surprise, surprise, Ty is getting his own companion novel to this series, and we're still gonna, to give you a little insight, we're still gonna keep up with that best friend's father theme going on. So I haven't read it yet, so I don't know if it's good or not. It's gonna be interesting, I guess you can say, and I am looking forward to some some Jesse and Eric like popping up in that book, so that's gonna be interesting. And what else is there to say? I just really enjoyed it. I felt like everything was handled maturely and like not in an over dramatic, blown out of proportion type of way. The only thing I felt like is like we didn't get enough with that mother and that whole keeping, like I felt like Ty was angry at his father about it, which is kind of weird because like he just like he really had no control over that situation. That's enough of that. So there we go. Those are all the books that not all. Those are like the first 12 books that I read so far in 2019. It was a mixed bag. I really do want to read some more poetry, but I probably won't read more poetry until the beginning of next year. And I'm going to be looking for some to put on my wish list before then. So if you guys have any recommendations, please let me know. If you guys have any good dragon stories that you guys know about, let me know about that. And please let me know if you guys have read any of these books, or if you guys plan to read any of these books. And what's your favorite genre, just to like, or author that you know that you can pick up at any moment and just enjoy most of what they have written? Let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.